Hello and welcome to Sydney to the Everything Electric Australia show. This is the show put on, well, it has been every year, but now 2 times a year in Australia, in Sydney and Melbourne, that formed out of the Fully Charged channel led by actor and EV expert, I guess now, Robert Llewellyn. So as with other shows, we're going to start off today with just a really quick walkthrough, look at the bulk of the show, a few highlights, and we'll probably come back later with a few more detailed videos as to what's on here. And maybe we might find Gavin Trubridge later on for a bit of a highlights tour with him as well. Right, let's go have a look. We have a couple of really interesting vehicles from Farazon. Now this is a commercial vehicle company under the ownership of the Geely Group. And they have a couple of cool vehicles here. We'll start with this truck. So, really nice interior for a truck there. Big screen, big comfy seats, transmission shifter, a big beastie CATL LFP battery, CCS charging. I'm not entirely sure on the range on this yet. I'll see if I can look it up and ask someone. Sorry mate, what's the range on the truck?
Roughly 300 kilometers.
Roughly 300.
50 to 300, depending on which battery size pack you get. So we've got one that comes in, I want to say 106 kilowatt hours, and another version 160 kilowatt hours.
Right.
163.
And that ranges on like 50% load, I think.
Yeah,
the normally
it's WLTP standard type of measurement that they use for all these
Gotcha.
vehicles.
And this van over there, what's the range on this van?
Similar, about 250 to 300, depending how much you load it. I think the rated range is just over 300 kilometers.
What's the size of the battery pack?
Battery pack on this, 106 kilowatt hour battery.
Wow, big
honestly.
battery.
Actually, I'm sorry. Let me double check this. I'm not one of the tech guys, but so we've got some brochures here.
Yep.
I can take you through. So the van especially is really what we're most excited about.
Yep.
Here we go. Sorry, I totally undersold it. 376
Kilometers of range. 83 kilowatt hour
battery.
Yeah.
There we go.
Wow, neat. Awesome.
Yeah,
Great.
2016.
And you don't price this for this yet, do you?
So we aim to price them below 70, and obviously if you're a fleet customer and stuff, be below that as well.
Fantastic.
So, yeah. If you'd like, I can get your contact and we can drop you.
That's fine. I'll come back and grab it later. We're recording.
Perfect.
Catch you, mate. So this is what has been called the super van. If you go over to our friend's channel at Inside China Auto, Mark there has a really cool walkthrough of this van. Just squeeze in here. Really modern interior, definitely a far more complete interior than what we've seen with the LDV, E-Deliver 3 and E-Deliver 7. Really nice details. There's no B-pillar, which I believe probably means they can do some really flexible things from this van in regards to, service setups, that kind of thing. You could essentially use that passenger seat space for load. And then back here they have, I believe it's under this cover, vehicle to load. And that vehicle to load is 3.3 kilowatts per plug, so nearly 10 kilowatt hours. Nearly 10 kilowatt, not 10 kilowatt hours of V2L capability. So pretty cool van there. Now, if we come over here, they've been covered up, but we've got the next generation of the Skyworth B11s. They are another Chinese EV that's appeared a couple of times, but not really launched yet. So we can see if they can finally make that work. We have a big Volvo electric truck there, and from last year we have the Janus electric cement truck tucked over there. We have some electric Volvo construction equipment. And then tucked over here, and there's a couple of these on the stand. They are converted. They are not factory ones. These are Oz EVs right-hand drive converted F-150 Lightnings. Now I gather these have becoming pretty popular here, particularly with mining operations. So these get converted to right-hand drive in Australia. Massive battery pack on these, big range for such a massive vehicle and huge capacity. Very cool. Some more bicycles. Segway, they're a big stand here. They used to be those two-wheel balance things. Now they're into all sorts of electric scooters. We have another super van over there. This is where they're going to be live reviewing vehicles on the stand. Over here we have the MSI stand. Now they are, of course, a gaming company, but they are getting into electric vehicle charging. We have another F-150 Lightning. This one all set up in mining colours. And this one has been used for tests with vehicle to grid, I believe. This side, we have this massive custom denting electric bus. Over in the corner there, we've seen this in previous videos, we have the Solar Challenge vehicles. We have this ute. We have this pretty awesome Land Rover. So look at this Hilux. It's no big 2.8 litre diesel in there anymore. That's a bit different. This thing is neat. I've seen this before at another show. It's a cool little truck. Now we're getting into the second hall here, which is where most of the new, where all virtually the new vehicle brands are. So if we come through here, this is the Giga Theatre where they're going to have panels on. I'll be on a panel here at 3:45 tomorrow. If you're at the show, come and have a look. Here we have a neat electric converted Land Cruiser 70. So you'll see big battery tucked under there. The aptly named E8 because there was a V8 in there originally. And big setup with a motor and all the controllers under there. So, what is that? 375 kilowatts of peak power, 1740 newton meters of torque, 700 volt VDC with 160 kilowatt capacity. It's a GVM of 4,200 kg. So this is a big beast. 6 seconds 0 to 100. That is super impressive. That is the ultimate electric off-roader, I think, at this point. Now this stand is very similar to what we saw last year, the Polestar stand. So we have the Polestar 4, very popular at this time of day. The Polestar 3. It's getting older, a little bit older now, but still very popular, particularly at $44,990 in New Zealand, the Polestar 2. Now if we tuck over here, and I believe you can check this out at the Auckland Boat Show this weekend as well, a version of that, the Cadillac. The hydrofoiling electric boat uses Polestar hardware in it. If you go back on our Facebook page, I have driven a smaller version of this on Lake Wanaka. A whole lot of fun, more electrified water toys there as well. Some cool looking Alva electric scooters. Some more retro offerings over here. And then over here we have the Kia stand. Now, EV9, EV5 we've seen plenty of times before. EV3, this is my first time kind of seeing it in person. I'm going to get to look at it a lot closer at Kia's EV Day in New Zealand next week. Everyone's been wanting smaller EVs. Well, this is definitely one of them. It's still an SUV, not a hatchback like I think a lot of people are after. But very cool nonetheless. We've got the GWM stand. Now, what are they doing here? Well, they've got the Aura Good Cat, but also their H6 GT. Some of these plug-in hybrids are getting up there in range. This one, I believe, will do a electric range. Well, they're saying 180k. I'm not quite sure it'll go that far, but you know, that's more than a lot of cars were doing years ago that were fully electric, let alone PHEV. We have Leapmotor. I'm really excited about the Leapmotor product. I really like it. I'm not sure it seems to have found its market quite yet, but these are a big, neat family SUV at quite a reasonable price. And I'm hoping that as time goes, more people will come across them. I've got the tan interior. We don't get that in New Zealand. I'm heading up to Spain in a few weeks' time to try the REV version of that. So a version with a 1.5 litre engine completely disconnected from the wheels. The 500Es and the Jeep Avenger, cool little vehicle, got that here in New Zealand. And then over behind me, again, a car that's just landed in New Zealand. We haven't driven it yet, but we will soon. That is the Cadillac Lyric. So that is a big luxury electric SUV. Oddly, quite well priced. It's at about 130k for what is a big beastie battery, though admittedly in a big heavy vehicle. But a real beautiful, beautiful car. Then we have what is probably one of the most popular stands, I think, and that is the Zeekr stand. If we run quickly through their vehicles, we have the Zeekr X there, that's already on sale in Australia. The Zeekr 7X. Now, this is still not 100% confirmed for New Zealand and Australia yet, but I'm sure it will be very soon. Big SUV. If you go back to my story in January about my visit to China to check out Zeekrs, the 007, kind of their Model 3 competitor, but I think it's a bigger, better vehicle. This is the particularly high-end sports version. The Mix. I love this car so much, but the chance of it coming to our end of the world is, I don't think that great. It's just so amazing with its flexible interior. We've got people in here recording a video there. Big luggage space, big family space. And of course, asymmetrical doors, so 2 sliding doors on one side, an opening door and a sliding door on the other. Over here we have the 009, big luxury people mover. You can get this as a Volvo as well. I spent some time in the back of one of these on a road trip. Super comfortable. Of course, in right-hand drive, because you can buy these in Australia now. Interesting, similar pricing really to that Cadillac. I think you get quite a bit more luxury and space in this. And I think 116 kilowatt hour battery. A very cool vehicle. And then over here we have the 001 FR. Now this is not coming to our end of the world. This is the first Zeekr. I think 1,050 horsepower. I drove one in China on a track. It was amazing. But this one, and I'll put the video over the top, is capable of tank turns. So super neat car, super neat technology, and just awesome what China's showing they can do with some of these vehicles. Now, let's move on through. So you can have their own charging there. We have MG. We've got a couple of cheeky hybrids on their stand, but they've got the good old MG4 and the Cyberster. Don't forget to check out our review of that, and the MG4 X-Power. Don't forget to check out our review of that as well. We have some Mercedes products. So we have the, I think it's an EQE, EQB, and a couple of Smarts. I'm driving a Smart at the moment back in New Zealand, so don't forget to subscribe if you want to see our review of those very shortly. And Tesla has a big stand here. They have the Model 3, but over here, something that people will be relatively excited about is the updated Tesla Model Y. So the new look lights. I do like that silver color. And here it is in red, and this has got the standard wheels on it. This is probably more what most people are going to order when it comes to a Model Y. It does look very nice. I think a little bit Polestar-ish in the front. Of course, not a lot of change inside other than the lack of stalks. You now get that rear screen in there as well. But nice looking. And then a very controversial vehicle, the Cybertruck. I've not seen one of these in person before. It is a big, big vehicle. That is huge. Of course, left-hand drive only. It's unclear if it'll ever make it down to our end of the world. I suspect not. Just a crazy format of a car. Got the storage tub in the boot there. Big tray. Power points in the back. Now, tucked away in the corner there, we have a Geely X5. They don't seem to be represented here as such, but I've seen a couple on stands. Our review of that went up last week, so don't forget to go and check that out. We have the Kangoo from Renault and the Megane E-Tech, which we are not getting in New Zealand, disappointing. We looked at it last year. It's a pretty cool vehicle. Now, over here, and the big thing about fully charged, or everything electric, electrifying everything, is the ability to do test drives. So they've got all these cars you can test drive. So there's a Deepal S07 going out. We've got that Deepal kind of sort of semi-ute. That back hatch opens to a ute. We'll see if we can find one of those further around to look at. We'll see if we can get one of those further around to look at. Some here as well, the E07. So that entire back glass underneath there is a kind of a ute tray. Another controversial vehicle over here, not quite as controversial as the Cybertruck, but certainly an interesting one that will sell like hotcakes, but the numbers are pretty hard to stack up on this one, and that is the Ford Ranger PHEV. So it looks like a Ford Ranger, but it is electrified. But the numbers are interesting, and the prices are reasonably high. You've got a 270 kilowatt combined output. You've only got 11.8 kilowatt hour battery, only 3.3 kilowatt hour charging. You have got vehicle load, all sorts of stuff there. So it does tow 3.5 ton, but other than that, the numbers struggle a little bit against some of the Chinese options that are coming to market from, well, we've seen the BYD Shark, we've also got the the GWM Canon Alpha PHEV coming. It's going to struggle on electric range and some other aspects, but people will still buy it because they love the Ranger. Great dealer network, great support, all those kind of things. You know, often buying a car is about more than just hard numbers. Now, over here we have the Xpeng stand. Now, we saw all these Xpengs basically at my video of the Sydney International Show. So we have their people mover here. This is left-hand drive. It's not in market yet. Lots of comfortable space. Chinese do people movers so well. Massive boot for a people mover. We have their flying car up there. This is their kind of, I guess, mainstream SUV model, their Model Y competitor, the G6. Very nice car. This one over here is interesting. This is the Mona 03, Mona M03. So this is an Xpeng, but it was originally started as a project by BYD for a ride-sharing car with one of the Chinese ride-sharing companies, and the project got sold to Xpeng. So this is actually what will be considered a very value-priced electric vehicle. Ultimately, 530 kilometers of WLTP range, 92 odd kilowatts of charging power, 160 kilowatt motor, front wheel drive, 7.4 seconds. I'm trying to see a battery size there, but I can't see one. But yeah, it's interesting. I believe it's actually got a BYD battery in it, even though Xpeng sources from other places in some cases, but because it was started by BYD, it's got that BYD battery. And it's designed as a taxi, because look at the boot on that. You could get 3 or 4 big suitcases into that. That's a massive boot. So that's going to be an interesting car if it makes it down our end of the world. Now we're going to cut through over here through Deepal. Now Deepal, we saw them before, not confirmed yet for New Zealand, but a really interesting brand by the big Changan group out of China. This is the S07, which is in market or coming into market in Australia now. 58,521 in Australian, 160 kilowatt motor, 475 kilometers of WLTP range, 92 kilowatts of DC charge. So not bad charge, not great, but not bad. This is the E07 as we're talking about, this kind of semi-ute. So this opens up and you've got this big kind of tray back ute in what is ultimately an SUV. The interesting thing I think here is that they've shown this before as a left-hand drive, but this is now a right-hand drive. So a really unique crossover vehicle that Deepal have got there. Another S07 in an orangey colour. Deepal are exciting. It's going to be cool to see what they bring to New Zealand, if they bring it to New Zealand. It's imported into Australia by Inchcape, who in New Zealand distributes Subaru and LDV and SsangYong, or KGM. So you can see on the BYD stand we have the Shark, of course. They have sold a couple of thousand of those in Australia now. So really, really impressive. The Sea Lion 6, the Dolphin, and over there the BYD Sea Lion 7. We have driven that. Don't forget to, again, look for the channel for our review. I really like that car, and it's surprisingly good value as well. 80-something kilowatt-hour battery, or rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. Good performance, good range. Now, Australia is getting the ID4 and ID5. A little bit behind us. They're getting a slightly updated model. They got some pretty sharp pricing for this car over here as well. I think they start at $59,990. That's the GTX, the all-wheel drive model there. And then we have the ID Buzz. Now, this is about to land in New Zealand. We got the pricing this week. You can spend upwards of 120,000 up through to 150 grand depending on the model. But what a cool looking vehicle. That has just amazing presence. Love the colours. Interior is very similar to the ID4.
I can't wait.
So is there a seven? Is it a 7-seater?
This one's 7-seater. It also comes in 5.
There is a 7-seater. So we go around here. Seats folded down. So with the back seats up, there's probably not a massive amount of space, but it's not too bad. But look, let's face it, people aren't buying these for the practicalities, they are buying it because it just looks amazing. And then if you want it for work, here is the van version. Again, you'd have to really want the looks of this vehicle to buy it as a van, because I think you could get three E-Liver3s for that kind of money. But this is a very high spec, very nice vehicle. Solid at range as well. With the Taviscan, which is their kind of large electric SUV, a similar platform and base to the ID4 and the Skoda Enyaq. And then if we spin around over there, we have the Audi stand, and they have stuff we've seen before, the Q4, the Q6, but here we have the S6 Sportback e-tron. This is the same platform as the Q6, but in a sporty car form. This one particularly is a Sportback. So for those of you who don't really want an SUV, because there's been a lot of SUV options lately, this is going to be there for you.
Public charging, everybody asks how to charge.
Typical Audi interior, big screens.
So we created our own.
Spacious back seat. If we come around the back, it's a nice rear end with those lit up Audi rings. And then the last one we'll duck over to here, and then we'll circle back around ourselves. There's a car that will get to New Zealand eventually, the Skoda Elrock. So again, this is a small to medium sized SUV. Reasonably spacious for its class. Skoda does just really easy to live with vehicles. Lots of accessories already in place on this. I really like this. This is a really neat looking car. I love this color. It's kind of a flat green. Already popular with people. Right, and that's it for our first pass through the Everything Electric, or Electrifying Everything show. I keep getting it confused. What a big show, lots of new product. I know we've seen some of it before, but there's some pretty cool new stuff here as well. So we'll be back hopefully in the next day or two with more information from the show. Don't forget to go to our socials to follow that, or the magazine too will have a really thorough story covering everything that's come out at this event. We'll catch you later on.